Hey guys, this week we have a yoga for flexibility routine focused specifically on increasing range of motion in the spine and the neck. It's time to feel uplifted. To begin, come on down to all fours. We'll just start with Chakravakasana, so spreading the fingers wide, knees directly under hips. Inhale, cow pose, broaden the shoulders, collarbones. Exhale, come into that Halloween cat shape and deeply, deeply round. Look at your navel for max round of motion. Maybe take your seat a little bit closer to your heels like I'm showing here so you get the deepest rounding possible in the low back. And then inhale, come into cow. You're really thinking of opening the upper back. The navel pulls in to stabilize the low back. And then your collarbones are like two canoes moving away from one another. And then the gaze is just level, no cranking of the neck. So just flowing between these postures. And you can micro bend the elbows a little bit for more range of motion as you come into that cow pose. So you can find more extension in the upper back. Exhale, maybe taking the hips a little bit closer to the heels to find a little bit more flexion in the low back as you round. So really playing with your range in this cat-cow, maybe moving a little bit slower than you do in your regular day-to-day practice. When we talk about flexibility in the spine, we really want the areas of the spine that don't do extension well to find more extension, like the upper back, and the areas that don't do flexion well to find more flexion, rounding, like the lower back. The spine has three major curves that we need to work with: the cervical, thoracic, and lumbar. And this Chakravakasana cat-cow is so beautiful because it really stabilizes each of the curves. As you're ready, press on back to downward facing dog, whatever that looks like for you today. Pedal through the legs. Bend the right knee and send the left heel to the floor. And then bend the left knee and send the right heel to the floor, spreading the fingers wide. Slowly stroll to the top of the mat. Half lift, inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together so you come in not to just a flat back, but almost a back bend, but without using your head and neck. So squeeze your shoulder blades together as if I had a broomstick between your shoulder blades, and then exhale, fold. 2 more times. Inhale, half lift. Also to connect with the breath, shoulder heads move back, shoulder blades squeeze together. Exhale, fold. Last time, inhale, breathing in, really going for extension, taking it into a back bend instead of just a flat back, keeping the neck long and in neutral, and then fold. Inhale, circle the arms down, around, and up. Clasp the right ear with the right hand. Left hand is down, and you're just going to take the right ear to the right shoulder. So you're coming into a little neck stretch that looks like this. If you want to intensify this, take the left hand behind your back so the forearm is behind your back, and it's almost like you're trying to hold the opposite side of your pants right here. That's going to make the stretch on the left side of the neck even deeper. Breathe into whatever you're feeling here, and then micro bend your knees so the tailbone's long, and then play with your chin placement. So dip the chin a little bit towards the chest, and then take the chin a little bit up towards the sky. Very slow, very gentle. Feeling a nice stretch in the neck. So you just vary the chin placement a little bit. Inhale now, both arms up, clasp opposite elbows. Micro bend the knees again. Circular motions here, so it doesn't matter which way you lean. Just lean to one direction, find the deepest possible side stretch. And then come down into a forward fold. But imagine you had a paintbrush on your elbow and it really wanted to reach all the corners of the room. So now a paintbrush on that opposite elbow, it's trying to reach all the corners of the room as you come up. And then little back bend here. And again, so you're just doing this really juicy spiral movement. Few more times. So you exhale as you fold forward. Inhale as you come up through a huge side body stretch. Take the elbows back in space. And then exhale, we'll take that neck stretch on the other side. So left hand is going to hold the right ear, left ear to left shoulder, and breathe. Micro bend the knees, keep everything easy. To intensify this, take the right forearm behind you. Maybe hold the left side of your pants if you can, or just reach for it. And then dip the chin down and lift the chin up. Just playing with opening the sides of the neck. Two more deep breaths. Good, and then inhale both arms up. Clasp opposite elbows the opposite way, so the non-habitual way that feels a little funky. Inhale, get long first, and then exhale into the side bend. Keep the elbows back as long as you can, and then reach for the diagonals as you come into a forward fold, and then this sundial motion. This is one of my favorite movements because it really takes the spine into its full range of motion, not just flexion and extension, but lateral side stretching as well. Should feel really good on the low back as long as you bend your knees a lot as you come forward. And then we'll all just meet in a forward fold. Clasp at opposite elbows, knees deeply bent. Just let everything go. On the inhale, find that extension again of that flat back. Exhale, fold and step back into downward facing dog. From your down dog, rock forward to plank. Exhale, lower all the way down to the floor in one straight line, or if you need to, knees. And then the chest follows, all in one straight line. Take the forehead to the mat. Press the thighs and the tops of the feet into the mat. Kneecaps lift off the mat. Inhale, send your forehead and crown of head forward in space. And then lift the heart up for a cobra, which we're going to hold. Pin the elbows in towards the body here. Keep your little cobra tail really strong. Tops of feet press into the ground, thighs press into the ground, kneecaps lift off the ground. So you're really feeling the low back warm and strengthen here. So remember, we want flexibility, but we want strength as well. If we're just having flexibility in the spine, that's where we're at risk for herniated discs and such. So here we're actually strengthening the low back. Keep squeezing the elbows towards the sides of the body, pinning the elbows in, chin in. So you're really just making the low back work. And then exhale as you're ready. See if you can get your forehead to touch farther away from you on the mat than where it was before. Second back bend. Inhale, coming up. You can do cobra just like we did before. So we'll all start here. If you want to move on, reach the arms behind you. Lift the pinky fingers for today. Keep the legs really strong, really active. Keep pressing the tops of the feet into the mat. Kneecaps lift. For 3, for 2, for 1. Exhale, come on down. 3 deep breaths. Good. So again, if you're new to all of this, cobra once again. So let's all bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Fingertips just at the level of the shoulders, and gently lifting the head and the chest, legs super firm. Option 1, stay here. This is a great place to stay and work the low back. Only if you're moving on, lift the legs. So from the inner thighs, lift. Don't let the legs splay out in a big V. Keep them really close. And then option to also reach the arms back, pinky fingers lift. So any of these variations you want to be in, you can come back to this routine a couple times a week to strengthen the low back and keep working on this. Cobra is a great one to always stay in this. One more breath, come on down wherever you are. And then we'll press back into a child's pose, knees nice and wide. Sink the hips back towards the heels. And child's pose to release the low back, just fold forward. Rock the hips side to side. Really nice job. And then press yourself up. We're going to finish with a bridge pose and an option for wheel for those of you who've been practicing a long time. So lie down on your back. Fingertips should graze the heels. Just come to lie down. Inhale, lift the hips up. And now origami your shoulder blades underneath you. So you're going to rock all your weight onto your right shoulder, pull the left shoulder blade towards the midline, and then all your weight on your left shoulder and pull the right shoulder blade underneath you. And you can keep kind of robot arms here, pressing the elbows into the mat, or if you can interlace the hands, lift the hips. So robot arms, pressing the tops of the arms, biceps into the ground. And imagine you're squeezing something between your inner thighs here. So the knees don't splay out. Everything's right in line with the hips, knees over ankles. One more huge breath, and then take it down. Breath of constructive rest here. Let the knees dip into one another to touch, feet as wide as the mat. Deep breath in and out. And then final back bend. I'm going to suggest taking bridge again. If you know full wheel and you want to come into it, this is the big finale pose. So inhale, lift the hips, shimmy the shoulders underneath you, interlacing the hands or robot arms. This is such a good place to be. Only if you've done it many times before, you'll take your hands alongside the ears. Wheel is a big pose, so I always like to make sure people get into it slowly, and we're not that warm because this is a short class. So only if you do it a lot, you're going to come onto the top of the head, keep the elbows squeezing together, and then press up into your full wheel. If you feel your low back feeling compressed, come up onto the heels. So raise onto your tippy toes and lengthen the tailbone forward. One more breath wherever you are, wheel or bridge. And then we'll all take the seat down, feet as wide as the mat. Knees dip into touch, one hand to heart, one hand to belly. Just let the low back, the lumbar neutralize here, decompress. Just enjoy the after effect of the back bend, really rejuvenating, energizing. From here, you can slowly extend one leg and pull one knee into the chest. Come into a little twist. Always really nice after our back bends. Just taking the knee across the body, just 2 deep breaths. And then opposite side, whichever you did, pull the knee in. And with spinal flexibility, I think students really tend to think about back bends, but rotation and twists are really another important component of healthy spine flexibility. From here, just lie back into a well-deserved Shavasana. If you've done your twist on both sides, take both legs long, deep breath in and out, thanking yourself for coming to your practice. And leaving you here from my heart to yours. Namaste. Thanks so much for practicing with me. I want to make sure you know about my free chakra challenge. Immerse yourself in this 7-day experience at the link you see below. From my heart to yours, namaste.